Okay, we are back to continue on our raccoon, and for this session we're going to really focus on the face, and there will be quite a bit of detail work, just little tiny strokes of fur with the liner brush, and so probably most of it is something that I will speed up and not do a lot of talking through. I mean, there's not that much you can say about making stroke after stroke after stroke after stroke all the same. So, but we'll get through it and it will really pay off. So, but before I start, I am darkening this area directly under the chin with dark burnt umber. And of course I'm going to fade that dark color away as we get further from him. Her. I think it's a her. Okay. Now, last time I did this line separating the leather of the nose from the short fur on the bridge of the nose. But in the PDF it says to do it at this point, so it doesn't really matter so much when we do it, as long as we do it. And another thing I want to do is darken that area under the muzzle, and I kind of messed that up. So I'm gonna wait and come back and do that in a little bit after this area dries. So for now, I'm going to use dark burnt umber. I'm going to use my liner brush, and I'm going to create stroke after stroke after stroke over the blue. In other words, where the mask is black. So I will be going in the direction the fur grows, so you will find that direction out as you watch. And that's all we're going to be doing, excuse me, for quite some time now. So here we go. Oh, but I do want to tell you one thing. So when you're working with a liner brush and you're making a line, try to, I talked before about pulling up on your brush at the end of the stroke so you get a nice pointed tip. Also, it doesn't matter so much here because we're not going to see the beginning of the stroke, but if you want a nice tip on the beginning of the stroke, you have to kind of make a motion like you're landing your brush on your canvas or on your surface, almost like an airplane. You're coming down onto the surface as you're moving the brush, and that way you'll get a nice point on the beginning end of the stroke as well. Okay. And I don't want it completely solid. I want some of the blue to show through. All right. Now I want to go back and work on the muzzle like I said I wanted to. And I'm going to take a wide side load of burnt umber and shade the bottom half of the muzzle like this, like so. And now we'll let that dry a little bit. Okay, now we're going to work on the upper part, the crown and the forehead, still with dark burnt umber. And on this dark stripe, I'm going to do slightly shorter strokes, and also I'm going to place them further apart than I did on the mask, because I want a lighter color here. And if I space pieces or little bits of the dark color further apart, then that'll make it a little lighter. And come down to the top of the bridge of the nose here. Now back to the rest of the crown. I'm going to use burnt umber, and these strokes are going to be shorter also. And farther apart, and I'm thinking that paint's pretty dry, so I'm going to get a new puddle out. When your paint starts resisting you, maybe because it's drying out. By resisting, I mean not flowing off the brush nicely. Either you don't have enough water in your brush, or the paint's getting dry. So this is better. Sometimes you'll see me get ready to paint and then take my brush away, and that's because I try to remember before I put the brush down on the piece to look at the way the brush is loaded. And those couple times there I had too much paint on my brush. There was a glob on the tip that was not going to work out well. Nope. That time I had too much water and kind of a glob. Gone. Okay, shorter strokes placed further apart. That's what we just finished doing with the burnt umber, and I'm going to go back down to the, I guess you'd say it's the upper lip, the area just below the nose here. And I have a brush side loaded with dark burnt umber, and I'm working on each side of the center And I'm keeping the loaded side towards the center. That's where the air, the center is going to be where the paint, where the color's darkest, then it's going to fade away. Okay, let's see. Okay, back to the short lines. And we're going to work more on the forehead and crown, and this time with gray sky. We're going to get a couple different colors up in this area. Want it to look kind of gray, but gray because colors have, our eyes have blended the colors, kind of like pointillism, where your eyes actually looking at a bunch of different dots of color, but then it's kind of blending them and you're seeing not the individual colors of the dot, or not the colors of the individual dots, but the colors that they make when those colors blend together. Okay, we're going to work on the bridge of the nose, and we're going to use a new color here, Mississippi Mud, so a bit lighter of a brown, and we're also going to be using the dark burnt umber. Now the strokes here are going to go up and in from the edges. And we're going to have a few down here at the bottom also. On the other side. So his eyes are set in to his face, and then the bridge of the nose comes forward. So we're seeing these hairs kind of curving around that area of transition. Oh, whoa. Way too much water. That was bad. Bad. But fortunately, caught it right away. No harm done. All right. And then I'm going to load up with the Mississippi Mud without washing my brush, and that'll kind of blend these two colors on the brush a little bit and give a transition. And when we get to the center of the bridge, we want those hairs going straight up. Got a lot of water going on here. It may have something else that can happen is if you have really deep water in your water dish and you put your brush in, you may be getting water pretty high up on your brush, and then when you go to use it, the water slides down the brush onto your piece, which is not what you want. It's just okay. Nikki, cat, do not come over here. Do not walk through the palette. Thank you so much. All right. We're going to use that same Mississippi mud. We're going to add a little bit of color up here. Don't come over here, Nikki. We had some over here, kind of behind the ear. Maybe. I know I should probably stop what I'm doing, get up, remove the cat from the room. But of course, he's hard to catch. Let's see. Maybe some over here. Okay. My edge between the light muzzle and the dark fur has gotten kind of messy, so I'm going to correct it. Although this may be premature because probably is premature because I'm coming back with black. Okay, let me look. Let me look here. Okay, I want to get my smallest brush, and now that we see the eyes starting to kind of disappear in the darkness of the face, let's bring them back out by adding a little bit of highlight, white, right on that edge. The white you can think of as a reflection off the moisture in the eye if you want. I think that's actually what it is. That one kind of big. What's yeah. You can wipe some back out with a damp brush. Bring some light back into those eyes. And we can work with this more when we finish them up also if we want to. All right, I think I'm gonna call that good so far. And we'll be back for another layer. First, I'm just seeing there's kind of a light area there. Want to make sure that it's quite dark under the chin. And also over here between these leaves. I think if you just look at the image of the finished piece in your PDF, you can see how dark the chest is behind those branches. So we want to get there before we start the holly or the pine. And this seems like a good time to do it. This area over here is really going to be covered with those branches, but I'll just add a little anyway. And of course the branches themselves, well, there's not a really strong light source since it's snowing, but the branches would be casting shadows as well. I think that I want to take a little bit of my midnight blue. I don't know if this is in the PDF. If it's not, I'll have to put it there. I want to shade around here some more. Putting blue over brown gives you a nice gray shadow. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do for this layer, and we'll be back for the next one. And that will be pretty much the end of the raccoon, although we may find ourselves coming back at the very end. Well, we will come back at the very end, put whiskers on him. But when we come back at the very end, we may do some other final touch-up with him as well. Like I'm thinking this band of light's kind of narrow, so we may want to bring some of the light fur back into those brown areas. But for now, we'll put it aside and come back and go a long ways towards finishing up. Okay, bye-bye.